Sure, let's head on right into the game. All right. Yep, they just started a little earlier this time, but it looks like it's going to be a Miracle Rogue versus a Shaman.
Well, Miracle is a pretty nice go-to. Shamans have lots of things to start the combos off with. If they roll a totem, that gives you a target to use backstab, SI7, and clear stuff. And also keeping Blade Flurry and whatnot is going to be super crucial because you need AoE to clear off these annoying things like Feral Spirits.
Yeah, I definitely give a big edge to the Miracle Rogue here in this matchup. It's just that you can count lethal, like you can count down your opponent's health really fast. What I mean by that is, for example, you have Leroy and two Shadow Steps, right? You can basically pretend your opponent is at like 18 less health and, count back from there and see how you can deal, for example, 12 damage with your cards in hand.
Yep, exactly. Now, GC is debating a long time over his mulligans and ends up keeping the Defender of Argus,
Oh,
which
that is interesting.
I agree with.
Oh, but two Defender of Argus is not something that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Like,
uh, that's
like my
generally
bet,
the
my bet is that one of these Arguses are never going to be played.
Okay. Yeah, I can completely see your point because most often it's going to be using the coin to push out something like an unbound, so you can pick up, some overload and synergize with that.
Hmm.
But defender usually has needs two targets to get full value, and that's rare against Miracle Rogue. They're able to do that.
All right, so I guess GC does have two three drops. So if it coins up the unbound, it's not like the worst scenario. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just also a little bit afraid of a backstab SI7, and also on turn 3 he has the option to do a coin plus the lightning bolt for the
Okay,
unbound to get a 3/5.
okay.
So toteming here is actually not that bad if because he has a really good follow-up play, and if he can't deal the unbound on turn 4, he has an Argus. Oh no, just kidding. He has one overloaded. Just
Yeah,
ignore
yeah,
us.
yeah. But yeah,
I
definitely,
guess the Argus is.
definitely the unbound coin lightning bolt is a pretty good play. Whoa, you can make a huge red win.
Oh well, he's choosing not to if he
Yeah,
does that with before
that's pretty
preparation.
crazy. I mean, it dies to Earthshock, it dies to Hex. It's a bit too all in.
Mm-hmm. All right, so a pretty slow start for both players. Nothing really too fancy. We were talking about that play with the lightning bolt, but how do you direct that? You're kind of expecting maybe something like an SI or a Farseer to come out, and then you can lightning bolt it and get value immediately. But
Right.
are you just gonna lightning bolt the face and then overload yourself for one?
Oh, yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
that one. But then
Yeah.
alternative is to, it's either totem up or Manatide, right? And I guess
Yeah.
Manatide is all right because I guess it replaces itself and your opponent needs to remove it. So
Right. You might be able to soak up a
not too
deadly poison charge.
he
You
ends up
might be able to take out a backstab.
he ends up with the Unbound. So I'm pretty sure that this is gonna get taken care of with the Thalnos.
Mm-hmm. Just the Thanos backstab and use your weapon. And dealing with this unbound is really key because a lot of times they can get overloaded and start putting it slightly out of reach that you can't like shiv. And when it's damaged, you can't backstab it anymore. So it's really nice to deal with it early as a rogue player.
Okay. Feral Spirits is gonna be that's really not the best draw. Well, he could Feral Spirits and then Manatide next turn with 3 mana, but I don't think he wants to do that.
Well, he totems here. And I was wondering what he really wanted from that totem.
Yeah, what was he thinking though? What was he thinking with the
Because
totem?
I think he really wants to save this coin. It just seems like he's really interested in saving it, but I can't really think of a reason why. If he's trying to save it for maybe something like his Violet Teacher, which he might pick up, or if he's really trying to see, like he rolls a totem first and then coins out the Feral Spirits. But then, like, what are you toteming first for? Like, what are you trying to look for? I don't know.
Yeah, that's so weird. That's really
You have
weird.
any insight, Amaz?
No. He told him so fast too, right? He must be thinking of something, but I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah,
Maybe we're
well,
both missing it. But I don't know.
yeah, normally he would like to Earthshock something like the Thanos. That's like a perfect Earthshock other than Van Cleave.
Yeah.
And so he kind of maybe wishes he had that. But, I don't really see any other way you can kind of boost your position by toteming into the Feral Spirits and using the coin this way. Maybe you could have used your coin because next turn you would have 3 mana. and you could have coined out the defender of Argus maybe if the wolves didn't die.
Mm.
I'm honestly a little confused of why he spent the coin there, but I would love to hear his reasoning one sometime.
Yeah, but here's a big turn. He could actually prep the Eviscerate and then drop the Edwin. Oh, and he can't conceal it. He can't conceal it, right? Can he conceal it? Oh, he can't conceal it.
No, he cannot, unfortunately.
No, I don't think that's a good play then, yeah. But
yes.
so, it's like, yeah, you know? You really want to play that, but hey, I guess that's fine.
Yeah, that's kind of why Feral Spirits is just so annoying for Rogue to deal with. You have to spend so much resource. That 3 health is surprisingly hard to remove unless you have Deadly Poison or some kind of Blade Flurry to combine it with. Rogue usually does 2 damage to stuff. Backstabs, SI7s, and even a spell-powered Shiv and stuff like that. It's just slightly out of reach. And that's why Shamans need that card to harass Rogue as much as they can to stall for these big, powerful creatures to come out. But GC hasn't been able to get a great start either. It seems like he's giving Rogue plenty of time to get set up.
Right, but he's not really setting up for much. Look at this hand.
Yeah, double conceal, double prep.
Yeah. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay.
Well, yeah, I guess it makes sense. Killing the spell power totem, getting a free minion versus trading your novice. Yeah.
Would you drop Van Cleef here? How many cards did he use? He only used 1 card, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, he didn't even use any cards. He just staggered up, right?
He just daggered up, so if he drops his Van Cleef, it'd be a 2/2.
Oh.
He could use some combination of preparation, conceal, and Edwin to make like a 4/4 or 6/6.
Sure, but then that's his whole hand. So, I mean, it's looking really good for GC right now. Like, obviously, he doesn't know it's super good, but his opponent's hand is really, really bad.
Yes, and that's kind of the risk that you have playing cards that are spells and they need Gadget Zan to get the engine going. It's kind of like the way Reynad always says. It's like your deck is 28 cards and Gadget Zans. So
sure,
you really, really depend on it because his Van Cleef's been sitting dead too. He hasn't been able to capitalize on that either. So it's one of his normal win conditions haven't been able to been activated either.
Oh, and here's the Argus with the healing totem too. That's perfect. That is 2 pretty good walls. Not bad. Small walls I want to see. Yeah. And
that's a good card.
No, another dead card.
No Gadget Zan.
It's funny how this hand would be so good. Like, it'll be top tier if you just added 1 Gadget Zan in there, right? This is like,
it would be.
Yeah, it was the worst combination of cards right now, but you change 1 card to Gadget Zan is like the best combination of cards.
And you can't even you can't even set up the board because the healing totem's there. So it's not like you can even do something cool with Blade Flurry with like a bunch of 1. He already used his Downos as well, so he needs to draw something like an Azure Drake or a Deadly Poison in order to address this board. But now he just passes with hero power, and GC should recognize this is an opportunity to start going for blood.
Dagger Pass at turn 7. That's quite a bad turn. So, I mean, over at GC side, we see a lot of minions he can just shoot down. I mean, the Fire Elemental could clear a Farseer or like a SI. So he might want to hold that back a little bit, but it does do a lot of damage when it starts hitting the face.
I want to also, if I'm in GC's position, I want to drop minions above 3 health to make sure that he doesn't have an easy way to just clear the board with something like Blade Flurry and Deadly Poison. Maybe he's missing 1 piece of the puzzle, so you just want to try to impose on the board as much as possible, which is why I probably wouldn't have been mad if he even played Fire Elemental, because it's really tough. At best, he would have to sap it, and maybe he does have a sap. And if you sap a Fire Elemental, it's still doing 3 damage right back on the following turn. So I think in that respect, it would have been okay.
There you go. Just like you said, there was a sap. But yeah, I mean, right now, it's like dead cards on dead cards on dead cards. Even a Deadly Poison would have been nice. But
it would have been excellent.
Man, the RNG gods not giving Ice Blue even that. Look at him, he's shaking his head. It's like,
I feel like now, with no real sign of Gadget Zan yet, and you could, even if you draw into something that's nice, like a Leroy, for example, that still doesn't help because you need to clear this board. I think you have to build up a big Van Cleef.
That is not too big a Van Cleef.
Oh, okay. You know what?
It's still a Van Cleef, though. Right.
Yeah, it's a 4/4. It can start whacking totems and stuff.
Right.
But again, that's a sign of desperation, and GC needs to recognize that and immediately pounce. Wow, the Feral Spirits is just going to be a really annoying for his opponent to deal with. I don't know if you should drop it immediately, let him clear it, and then drop the Feral Spirits.
Right.
That's a great way to follow up a Blade Flurry.
Definitely
so he has
agree
the
with that.
defensive options. It's great.
So right here, well, I mean, what do? You want to, put on some aggression. So that would be either Fire Elemental or Azure Drake, and then, well,
Let's count up how much. Let's count what he has right now. He has 5 damage on board. He
Right.
has 6 damage in hand, so he's got 11. If you put out the Azure Drake, you put him at 9. Fire Elemental also squeezes out 3 damage as well, so
right.
that could potentially put him at 6. And if you kind of manage your mana this way, you can kind of just sneak in damage here and there. Defender of Argus also gives +2 attack.
Sure.
And hey, you said
I think he would want to use his Argus now because so happens if there is a Blade Flare, he wants to set up taunts again. So I think the Fire Elemental would be my choice.
Yeah, I really don't know about whether or not Argus is okay though, just because I think he's worried that the Van Cleave is just going to kill it off anyways, and the Fire Elemental is pretty imposing.
Right.
Otherwise.
And also, his opponents just use Sapped, so the Fire.
That is true.
Oh, there we go.
There he is.
Okay. So now the real match starts, right?
Yes. He's got 15 cards and he's halfway through, so that's it starts the 50% mark. He has double prep, so let's see what Ice Blue can do with this.
Okay, so what do you start off with? Do you start with prep or do you start with cold blood?
Oh yeah, you need the prep. What's kind of annoying is that he'd rather use the prep on something like the Blade Flurry instead of the Deadly Poison.
Right.
But let's see what he draws. It really depends on what he's going off the top here. Even cards like Shiv and Fan of Knives would be nice, so that way he can draw even more cards and save mana. There's a Deadly Poison.
Oh, that's a good card.
Does he draw even maybe a second Deadly Poison? The miracle can be very real in this case.
Yeah, that's true. Oh no, it's an SI.
Okay. Still, second Deadly Poison would be massive.
No, okay. I guess he will have to pull the trigger now.
I don't know.
What's the trigger now? You get SID Fire Elemental, right? So that's pretty good. But then, he is dead to Lightning Storm. His whole board is gonna be dead to Lightning Storm.
Yeah. There's also a case where you can say he can use something. Or he just wanted to save as much mana as possible, so that way he can squeeze in Conceal and maybe another spell. He needs to Eviscerate, Attack, and Conceal, and see what his opponent can do in response. But this is a brand new game here, Amaz.
Okay, I like the Conceal more, yes. Now they say it, more than the SI. Because it's just like, what you don't want. Like, Azure Drake plus 2 Lightning Bolts and everything is cleared. So, yeah, definitely. That was the curve play. So, man. Wow, how the tides have changed, It's like, you're at 12 damage right now, you're at 17. You could Feral Spirits, but, you're not gonna live for long, right? Yeah, so, man, what a turnaround.
GC does have the Feral Spirits, and that's kind of what he absolutely needs to do something like that to just set up walls in his opponent's way so he can't get that free damage. Now that Gadget Stand's concealed, and he realizes his opponent just drew 4 or 5 cards, he has 10 cards left approximately. That means there's an extremely high chance that he has Leroy in his hand somewhere, especially with so many dead cards for 2 turns. So I think the Feral Spirits is a must play. So that gives him 6 more mana to kind of wiggle around with, in which case he can Totem and Defender of Argus as well if he wants to improve his defenses. But that's such a passive play. He needs to also find a way that he could potentially set up maybe a 2-turn lethal, because he still does have damage in his hand. If he potentially draws into something, he has to figure out what's the best way to position himself to get lucky here, Maz.
I would lead with the Azure Drake here, and then if I get Lightning Storm, I might just risk it.
It's also another possibility.
Right? Because if you miss, you can still use the Feral Spirits, and that's so I guess we still use the Feral Spirits.
The Feral Spirit. Yeah, it's a good risk, right? The 1 extra taunt with the Defender of Argus is pretty minuscule.
Yeah, but do you Lightning Bolt the face here? Can you count lethal if you do that?
He's gonna have 8 mana next turn.
Yep.
So I think, either way, the mana still is the same, right? Either uses the 1 mana here, or he has 7 next turn. So
okay, yeah, that's true.
It's kind of ineffectual.
Oh, that is a sap.
And he has a Cold Blood, he has an SI,
And
and the ship, and the Leroy.
and
There it
this
is.
is over, right? This is pretty.
Yes. And you
Uh,
know what? Maybe Ice Blue can't turn water into wine, but he can win games from seemingly unwinnable positions when Shaman has a full board.
did he just? Oh, wait.
Wait, did he? No, he's
No,
got
no, no.
this. He
I
just
think
killed.
he's just styling, right?
Yeah, or maybe even trying to win without Leroy. You know,
Oh,
his
wow.
hands kind of blurred on my screen, so I can't
Yeah,
really.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, he's trying. Oh, yeah, he won with Leroy. So, yeah. It's just the China stream, guys. It's a bit laggy, so we're trying our best.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah.
don't want to reveal that Leroy tech, you know. It's very important
Yeah.
to hide that.
Wait, is he playing Malikos Miracle Rug or is he playing Leroy? I don't know.
Okay, okay. That's some mind games there. I mean, man,